Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Dorian, and you're listening to Highway to Scale. It's a podcast in which we explore the ins and outs of business success and where we cover topics like validating business ideas, exploring different management styles, building products, launching them on the market, raising capital, and scaling your business. If this is your first time listening to Highway to Scale, click that subscribe button and add us to your podcast playlist so you'll get notified when we publish new interviews. And if you want to be a guest on the show, get in touch with me on LinkedIn. In today's episode, I'm joined by Liviu, who is the CEO of DRUID. It's a company that brings human conversations to the enterprise world by developing intelligent chatbots that empower employees, customers, and partners to digitally communicate with your business and enterprise systems in the most intuitive, efficient, and human-like way. As for Liviu, he created two of the most renowned Romanian IT brands, TotalSoft and Charisma, and these two brands have been a valuable business card for the Romanian software industry. As a founding member and president of the Software and Services Industry Association, Liviu was actively involved in promoting the Romanian IT industry, and then at the beginning of 2018, he started his new success story when he founded DRUID. In this podcast, Liviu will tell us more about the current state of the chatbot technology and their potential when it comes to enterprise usage. We'll also talk about some of the ways to increase the value of your company and why is it extremely important to have a strong story that describes your company and your products. So let's cut the intro and let's jump right into the episode to see what Liviu can teach us about building a business. Liviu, it's so great to have you on Highway to Scale. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate to be here.
Okay, let's start with the basics. Can you tell me a little bit more about DRUID? How did it all start?
I started in 2017. I quit my previous company, which was a fantastic journey for more than 20 years. Building ERP. It was Charisma was the most popular ERP in the region, more than 45 countries in the world. And I sold the company in 2017, and I took the decision to follow another dream I had at that time, artificial intelligence. And in February 2018, I founded DRUID as a company which builds a platform of AI platform for using chatbots, and I think I'm extremely happy doing this. I had a fantastic team. Part of them came from my previous company, and so now this new dream it's make me extremely happy.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So, can you tell me what's the vision for DRUID? What are some of your main goals?
My main goal is that everybody in the world, every employee in the world, to have a virtual assistant and the name to be DRUID. I think that I have that feeling that it's possible. Of course, to have everybody, it's impossible, but to be so popular, DRUID as a virtual assistant, I think makes sense. As you know, a chatbot could be used by external users, by the customers, and by internal users. And up to now, of course, we have external users and internal. But my focus is to focus for internal users because I think that covers some genetic needs like mobility, self-service, and just to chat.
So, what makes your platform better than some of your competitors? Because there are a lot of companies that provide chatbots. What makes your, let's say, the number one pick?
Dorian, this is the most popular question. The venture capital equity funds are asking me. So
Of course.
this question, I used to answer. So I think we had a fantastic chance 1 year ago when after very, very in detail audit, the UiPath, which I think it's very well-known company now, providing robots, RPA, took the decision to sign a commercial agreement with us and to promote our product all over the world. And this is because they understand very well that to give a flavor to their robots, to give a human, let's say, approach to their robots, they need a chatbot. And due to that collaboration, due to that partnership, our chatbots is connecting with RPA robots, and that means that we not only just get some information from information system, we don't take just only needs of external users, but we can run tasks based on the RPA. So that means that our platform became much more sophisticated than just a simple platform for chatbot, due to the integration with UiPath RPA robot.
Yeah.
And this is it's a fantastic, because UiPath evolved fantastic in the last. They have UiPath applications, they have data services, they have AI fabric, and we have integrated with all this, let's say, application of UiPath, and to get a lot of benefits for the customers and for the employees as well.
Yeah, because a lot of chatbots basically have that super simple ability just to answer a few predetermined questions. Your integrations make this much more usable for users. Exactly. And for the companies that use them.
I give you an example. For example, up to now, the RPA robots were used just by employees because it was to improve the back office activities. But now, with our platform, we connect the RPA robot with the customers of the client, with the external users, which, for example, in an onboarding system, you can run the entire end-to-end process using RPA, which are used by the external users, not only by the employees. So this is a fantastic change.
So you mentioned clients. One of the things that I read on your website is that you got your first 50 clients in the first 6 months of your company. Can you tell me a bit more about that process? How did you get your first client? How did you get that initial batch of 50 in such a short time?
I think the first 50 clients for me are the most impressive challenge, but also gives me validate that we are on the right path. So I think that I started, Dorian, to be honest, to sell my product from the day one. It's true that this doesn't mean that I call the clients, but I prepare the sale process. We started the company in 2018 in February, and we launched the product in 2019. For 1 year, I never visited any client, but I warm up how to sell. I was so ready. I imagined how to promote. I make different repetition, like, in not on the camp, but inside. And that was, I was so ready to how to promote. And I knew that there is a fantastic need. It is a fantastic need for the chatbots due to the mobility, as I said, the self-service, which is a key of artificial intelligence. Self-service is everything what is guide us to artificial intelligence. We want to manage ourselves without any support from anybody. So we want to pay, we want to book, we have to find out everything without any other support.
So what does your sales process look like now? Do you do more inbound or outbound? What is your sales team organized like?
Yes, now we are in a process to change a lot. Up to now, we have a direct sale, majority direct sales in the local market, and for in international was through the partners and UiPath.
Okay.
So we have around 60 partners, which is a fantastic asset of doing 60 all over the world, from Australia to US, and also UiPath. But locally, it's a process, sales process is under our control. Internationally, in the last, let's say, 6-7 months, and we started to sell outside, was not under our control, was just due to the partners. But now we want to change. We want to have a mixed sales process, direct and through the partners, internationally as well, in order to support even the partners with more potential leads. So at that moment, we have a sales process with that all the sales cover the entire world. For example, a salesperson covers part of Europe, another one part of Middle East, US. We have two offices. One is in UK and one is in US, and also will be another in France and in Benelux, maybe one of the country. And we have a team. It's a mixed team with sales and pre-sales people. And so that means that was is a major change which is happened now in the second part of this year, and hopefully will be, let's say, I hope, a vertical growth of the company.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. You're really going global with DRUID. Yeah. So we can expect big things from the company in the next couple of years.
Yes, because I have some prerequisites which give me confidence. We have a good product, a reasonable product, which was validated by big companies like, for example, let's say Bank of China or something like this. Complicated. I'm talking about Société Générale, about but Orange. We have 60 partners, which is in a way impressive. Even not all of them are very active, but this will grow up to 100 this year. We have the support and the partnership with UiPath, and I have a fantastic team. So I think all these prerequisites, in a way, are giving me a confidence that we can do it globally.
So when we go, let's say, through the history of your company, what were some of the major milestones? Can you tell me about that?
Yes. The first milestone was, of course, to set up the team. Because what I found out in my career is that if you have a good team, when I say a good team, it's not only about technique, but to be nice people, to be devoted, to be enthusiastic, but to set up a team. And that took me around 3-4 months, to be honest. And that was a very important milestone, because when I wanted to set up this company, in my mind there were some people which I knew at that time. The second milestone was, for example, in the team needs an architect. If you don't have the right architect, everything could be suffer in the future, the product. And I took the architect, which I worked with him in my previous company, and I knew that he is extremely smart and extremely literate. The second milestone, it was to have also to an advisor to audit what we developed, because
Yeah.
sometimes it's necessary to have an objective person which is not inside, and to validate and to say yes, it's good or it's not good, which could be from internationally better. And I always thought about this, because when you are inside, you are enthusiastic with what you produce, but sometimes you need permanently another view from a more objective. And to be honest, there are not so many companies in Romania, for example, to build such a platform. The third was a milestone, very important, to launch the beta version. That was also very important, because beta version, it was in my mind to go to the clients. And beta version was it's extremely important. And fortunately, we had a fantastic chance that just the largest Romanian bank, Banca Transilvania, took the decision to acquire our chatbot, which was, let's say, very, very at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Another important milestone is that when to have a partner network. Without the partners, it's impossible to scale up. And so that was another important milestone. And then the most, let's say, challenge milestone was to go outside of your country and to become global.
Yeah. So when you look at those last couple of years, you from your CEO perspective, what would you say were some of the best decisions that you make, and what were maybe some of the mistakes that you did?
Yes. So regarding mistake, it's a mix between good and bad, because in general, the good decision is coming after a mistake. You learn from mistake, and then you take a good. And in our mind is that good decision covers a wrong decision, a mistake, and you forget about mistakes. And but always a plus cancels the minus in general.
Yeah, true.
But
that is true.
I think yes, I think there was some wrong decision which I took is regarding the price. Mm-hmm. Because I thought that the most important is to build a product to be so easy to be implemented and not to consume man hours. And that was, I promoted everywhere that this is DRUID, ignoring, in fact, that the partners will be very unhappy, because a partner to be happy to sell my product is to have a lot of services connected to the product.
Of course.
If I said, no, it's not necessary, they were not happy, just only for licensing. And that was a big mistake. And at the beginning, I had some partners, but nobody of them, they wanted to sell, because due to the structure of the price. Of course, I took another decision, and now it's okay. Another, let's say, bad decision which I took is that I thought that to go in US, you need a sales company very professionally to advise me how to sell in US, and the marketing as well, a third party. And I don't think that the decision was bad, but up to the end, I think came then the pandemic. I couldn't see them. The communication was not so how I expected. And up to the end, that's two companies for sales and marketing have not been useful for DRUID at all. And I lost money. I lost a lot of energy and hope. And I realized that I have to, instead to hire such advisor companies, better to hire persons who could be a very good advisor. And now I changed this. So, and this it cost me around almost 400,000 euros.
Oh, Okay, that's a big waste of money. Basically,
That is
you
a
didn't get anything
yes
from.
mistake. But now you find out. This doesn't mean that I will advise somebody not to. But take into consideration the period with that pandemic, I think I couldn't take any benefits from that partnership.
Yeah, yeah. So can you tell me how did the pandemic in general affect your business? Did you have a constant growth, or did you have some
No, we had
negative sides?
yes, we had a constant growth. I think the digitalization process was not affected by the pandemic period. But to be honest, it's for sure that without the pandemic period, the growth should have been higher because I couldn't. The demand was very high, but the speed to sign the contract was not so high because
Yeah,
the people.
yeah.
You understand very well. The process was not so fast. But on the other hand, the pandemic period, you cannot say that you can take the benefits from this because it was so terrible, dying so many people, so many suffering. So for me, it was a very bad period in a way. Of course, the business was not affected. DRUID grew up in 2020 like 3-4 times compared with 2019.
Oh,
But
that's
I'm
great.
sure that without this period, should
Yeah, it would be much higher.
should have been much higher. Yeah.
Okay. One other thing that I want to ask you is about your process of investment and getting
Yeah.
outside capital. You've gone through a couple of rounds. You've closed your Series A at the start of this year. Can you tell me more about the types of investors that you were looking to attract?
I think for us, of course, to grow, we need a financial investor, and up to now, we have two financial round, 2.5, something like that, with three VC, three venture capitals, and I'm very happy with that venture capitals, which they have supported our growth. Now I'm looking for this year, in the end of this year, to have another financial round, which I hope to be to higher, to much higher evaluation of DRUID, taking into consideration the numbers and let's say the potential. So we would like to start around in September and to close a new financial round around in December. And this process will now, up to now, it was Series A, and also this year we will sync to Series A, and next year we'll sync to Series B.
So, what are your thoughts on bootstrapping a company? When it comes to new startup owners, would you recommend them to go the bootstrap round or to always go look for outside capital?
It depends of the business, of course. In my opinion, for a startup, for sure, external capital it's a must, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because otherwise, you have to have an organic growth. That means you have to do today the same as you have done yesterday, but better way. So that means you evaluate from N to N plus 1.
That's all.
With
True.
external capital, you can evaluate from 0 to 1. And in my opinion, I recommend this because the most important is the value of the company. It's not so important how many shares you have.
So you mentioned the growth and the potential of your company. What do you exactly mean by that? What's the potential for your company to grow in the next couple of years? What's the potential of this entire chatbot market? Let's say.
Yes, there are a lot of concern about the chatbot market. Everybody is, maybe you know, I'm sure you know, everybody understands that this is a future, but the market is very crowded, and this creates some concern regarding a company which creates this platform. Regarding my goal, the goal which I have with DRUID for the short period of time, which means the next 2-3 years, is to become very a global company, to have a lot of partners all over the world, and to have a fantastic growth every year, like 3-4 times in the previous year. If this goal, which is not very sophisticated, not so exciting, but this is the only way if you want to increase the value of the company. You need just to sell 2-3 times in last year. And if this is happening for the short period, then you can dream everything, unicorn or something like this. But first, I have to do this in the next 2-3 years. And to grow means to have a very scalable product, to be very easy to have so many clients.
Yeah, that is true. So when it comes to you as a CEO, what are you currently focused on the most? Are you involved in day-to-day stuff, or are you just focusing on the strategic aspects of growing your business?
Unfortunately, maybe I like to go in details. So I want to know everything. How the people are feeling, if the people are happy, if they are not happy, if there are fights between them, if it is an harmony or not. I want to know also details about development and about implementation and about sales as well. Because being a technological company, if you don't go in details, you can take very bad decisions, because you have to know if it is an issue, from where is coming the issue. And that means that you have to go in details. Maybe other CEO are much clever than me, and they are much more strategical, and they don't go in details. But I go in details. Strategical point of view, if you go in details, you have the data to think strategically, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, my focus is very in details, and then with this data, with my people, with 3, 4, 5 people, we are thinking strategically. To be honest, I never, maybe I cannot, I don't know, think alone strategical about, because I need to be challenged by my people, and then based on this to have at least to synchronize our opinion.
Yeah, this sounds extremely interesting, because a lot of CEOs that I talk to, they have this opinion. I, as a CEO, don't really have the time to be operational, to handle as you said, things in detail. I really need to hire someone who can do that for me. So this your approach is quite a bit different.
I like to hire right people to it, but I know, Dorian, that, or so I am. I don't know. Being, as I say, a very technical company, very focused on technological. When you take a strategical decision, you have to understand the effect in all the division, in all the aspects, in all the departments. And that means that you have to know in details what is happening. Maybe when of course, when DRUID will become a very big company, will be very, very difficult. But now I think it's time to go in details, and also to, of course, that my major focus maybe is in to make the customer happy and just to sell the product.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So when it comes to hiring new people, what are you focused on the most? What kind of people are you looking to attract to join your company?
In general, I don't think that I am a good recruiter, but when I
Okay.
hire, in general, when I hire somebody and I have an interview, if I want to hire him, I think, should I be an employee to that guy to report to him? And if he could be my boss, I say maybe this is the right person. Because,
Yeah.
up to the end, it's very important in a company like DRUID, everybody to be a leader. For me, is much more important than a manager. Because being very flexible, a leader is very important, all the people to follow him up. On the
Yeah,
other
that's
hand,
that's a good
up
approach.
to yes, it's very important to say, okay, this guy, may I be an employee again and to report to this guy? So I think always. And if I say yes, so let's hire. But up to now, I use a lot of references. So up to, I think I can say that on this stage, to be honest, of DRUID, 80% of the employees whom I hire, they came through the references. Take into
Yeah.
consideration that I have worked 20 years with more than 500 people, software programmers in my previous company, and of course I knew a lot about. But now I'm hiring international. Up to now we have around 5-6 international people, and up to the end of the year we have maybe 15 or 20.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay, now we've talked about your company, we've talked about you. Let's talk a little bit more about the market and about chatbots in general. What can we expect from that technology in the next couple of years? What will this technology allow us to do?
Yes, this is it's a very good question and very complicated in a way. And I would start saying the following, let's say, statement. If you set up a company now, the chance the company to be much better than a company set up last year is very high. So, for example, because I founded DRUID in 2018, I was not aware or concerned that they were at that time much more mature chatbot companies because their technology was not so updated with my technology. So that means the technology now is changed so fast that you have to change permanently. And I think there is a philosophy to be in a way, in a positive way, very superficial, because with that superficiality, you can cover all the changes, not to get a patient for a specific technology. This is a very dangerous way. All of us, if we focus on what we are doing, we became addicted. But you have to be a little bit superficial in a positive way. You get me, yeah? In order to change permanently the technology, to understand that everything what is now is better than, for example, about this. When I started to build the product, I said we have to have the voice as well. But now doesn't make any sense to have the voice because there are such a company like Microsoft or like Google or many or like Vonage or which are much more advanced. I have just only to integrate. Regarding the technology, which are the challenge? For example, in a platform, in the chatbot platforms, there is this engine of NLP, NLU. And our NLP, it's very evolved in a way. It's in 45 countries. It's, as I said, it goes in China or Japan or Arabic countries. So it's very advanced. But I am sure that there are others which are more advanced than ours. And my target is not to become the best NLP. My target is that the platform to be very easy to integrate other NLP in my platform. because, it was a fantastic change in the last period of time. A couple of years ago, when I say this could be 5, 6, 7, it was very important to have integrated application like ERP with just only one database and all the application to be connected. Now, due to the API, due to the technological change, you can have a lot of application from different providers and connect it in a very easy way. And this is the future. So from technological point of view, it's very important to be very open and to be very literate with what is developed in the world in order to take all the benefits and very easy decisions.
Yeah, I really like this way of thinking. You don't need to be technologically the best, but you need to offer people the way to simplify,
Exactly.
the process
and
of
to
implementation.
understand that the client will guide your evolution. You cannot
Of
guide
course.
the evolution. The client will guide. If a client say, no, I want Microsoft NLP in your platform, I say, well, good, let's do it.
Yeah, let's
Because
do it.
the advantage is Microsoft cannot do this, saying, in my platform, I can take Google. Never Microsoft will do this. We have to find a solution exactly to defeat, in a way, the big boys, because the big boys, at this moment, they can dominate the market.
Yeah, and it seems to me that this mindset of yours lies behind your Oxygen platform that you released a few weeks ago. Because if I'm understanding it correctly, it's all about simplifying the process of deployment for virtual assistants. This AI based solutions.
First of all, Oxygen is a stone corner in evolution of DRUID. It's a very important milestone which we had. And to be honest, the partnership with UiPath pushed a lot to, let's say, to launch this version. Because you can imagine UiPath always ask us different other features to be faster, if we want to sell there, you need to have this and this and this. And that was a fantastic push to speed up the roadmap. What, for example, is, I just wanted to mention one feature which is very important, is called Solution Library. Solution Library capitalize all our experience with around 70 standard chatbots. So that means that for the partners or for the clients, they can take it and to see exactly how the chatbot, what can do, and then to develop for them, starting from this standard chatbot. It's a fantastic help, and very few platform they have to. This is also a signal of courage, because you can imagine that I put all my knowledge there. I put the capitalization you can acquire by a competitor looking, and I say no. The number of partners, the clients, will be more than the guy who will try to take some ideas. And I think this is a fantastic picture.
Okay, Liviu, we're almost done with with this podcast, and we're almost done with our time. So I have just a few more questions I want to ask you. The first one is, as you said, this is not your first company. You've had successful companies before DRUID. So can you give us some advice, let's say, for new startup owners who are just looking to push their first products on the market? What do they need to know about building successful businesses?
I think for a success startup, in my opinion, is necessary 3 tasks to run. One is to have an idea achievable. So that means if you want to do that, to be achievable, to close your eyes and to see that this idea could be achievable. Not very difficult, not to be achievable in the beta version very soon. That is very important. The second one is to find financial investment, because the most important is to build a product based on a financial investment, not with the money of a client, for example. To have a financial investment to think just only to your product and to how to promote. And the third, which I think is the most important, is to have a story. A story to motivate your team and to motivate why you have built this product in front of the clients. To have a story, because the story is just only what we keep in our mind. We like to listen, and you penetrate the world based on a story. So that's, I think it's three majors. And it's important also that when you make a team, to find complementary people. For example, I give you a very easy example, not to hire just only Germans, not to hire just only creative Italians, not to hire sophisticated people as French, or let's say more superficially as Romania. It's very important to hire all of them, to hire a guy who is a German, an Italian, a French, because so the God, let's say, born all this kind of nation, because this is the only way to go ahead, to have more complementary skills.
Yeah, that is completely true. Okay, Liviu, one last question. What can we expect from you and DRUID in the next, let's say, 2 to 3 years?
I hope that the company to become the most important platform of chatbots came from Europe. This is my goal.
Okay, nice. Liviu, once again, I want to thank you for joining me on this podcast.
Thank you. It was a pleasure for me.
It was a pleasure for me. I learned a lot, and I'm sure our listeners will learn even more about your company, chatbots, and the entire potential of this industry.
You are very nice, Dorian. You are very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
And we are done. If you stuck with us until the end, here are a few key takeaways from this episode that I want you to remember. Number 1, don't be afraid of making bad decisions. Use them as learning experiences, and always keep in mind that a good decision you make can fix an earlier bad decision. Number 2, to have a successful startup that can grow rapidly, you need an idea that is quickly achievable, you need to find financial investment, and you need to have a strong story that will motivate you, your employees, your customers, and your potential investors. And number 3, when you're growing your company, make sure that you're building a team that complements each other. Hire people who don't just fit into your company, but more importantly, who add something extra, like a new skill, a new point of view, or a new mindset. This will greatly increase the overall potential of your company. Now, before you sign off, don't forget to subscribe so you get notified when we publish new episodes. And leave us a review if you enjoyed this podcast and you learned something new. It'll be highly appreciated. Also, if you want to be a guest on the show, shoot me an email or hit me up on LinkedIn. My contact info is down in the description. And that's it. I'm Dorian. You've been listening to Highway to Scale, and I'll see you all in the next episode.